Greetings, it's me again, Athena Jezik. Well, today I want to first of all thank you all for subscribing and commenting and liking the videos. It really means a lot to me. A lot of this is my life's work, and I also have a lot of things to share because I've learned a lot through working on people. I've learned a lot about different things, so I'm excited about sharing some of the concepts that I see, and I do it just for the purpose of discussion or just for the purpose of maybe getting you to think differently. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for the comments on those to let me know that you're with me on that and you see it the way that I'm seeing it or very close to, and that there's actually some dialogue, even though it's, going through the fingertips. There's some dialogue in there. There's a camaraderie, so to speak, with what's going on in agreement with some of the things that we see. And I think that's very good. So today I wanted to touch a little bit on just a concept that I thought of the other day, which is kind of interesting. And I think you'll all maybe take some pause, or I hope you do, take some pause in listening to what it is and considering what might be going on at a little bit deeper level, a little bit behind the veil. I like to break down words. Words to me are really fascinating, and I also like to know the definition of words because there's been a lot of definitions that have been changed over time. So I was pondering on the word television, and I broke it apart, and it breaks down to tell a vision. Television. Tell a vision. So that was an interesting thought for me because I know that the television right now is saying a lot of things. It probably brings us more things that are not in line with truth than what is in line with truth. So I got to thinking a little more about that whole concept in that little tiny world. So we have television, and then we have channels. So what is a channel? A channel is a way to get something through. Whether it's a channel for water or these people that do channeling from other sources, it's a channel. So we have a television and a channel. So what are they challenging? Then we have programs, and that's actually what they're channeling us is programs. So in the program is where we are being influenced to think in the ways that we are thinking. And it's very subtle, but yet it's repeated over and over and over. As you notice with news stations, if you turn from one to the other, oftentimes they're saying the exact same words over and over and over. That is a way to get people to turn from what they know as factual, turn them into thinking that this is the way that it's supposed to be because they hear it so many times. It's kind of hypnotic in a way. So we have a television, we have channels, and we have programs. So how does that even get past a good education? Because if we're well educated and we know the proper history and not the revised version, or we know other things that are maybe not in the mainstream, but that are backed by factual things, factual findings, archaeological findings and different things to show us that there's something amiss with what we're being told, that would be a problem for the channeling and the programming. So what has been happening is that they've been going into the school system. I have a book here that was put out many years ago, and it's called Deliberate Dumbing Down by Charlotte Iserbit Thompson. And she has gone through all the laws and different things that was done in Washington during certain years back in the end of the 1900s, 19-something, seems like decades ago, but of how they implemented slowly and incrementally different things in the school, different ways of teaching, different topics. The school books themselves had to be screened. Then they had the teachers' union, which would control all of this. So that way they could get their programming and their channeling into the minds of people by having not only it showing on television, it was now also being validated in the school systems. So that's how that works, and it spreads out farther and farther and farther and farther and farther as you begin to look at this. So I thought it would be interesting to challenge you all today to start to think about what it is you're hearing and what's common and what's more like the herd is listening to. And then see your reaction when you hear something different. Because when you hear something different that contradicts what you've been told, there's usually a reaction inside. And it can be a pretty explosive reaction in some cases. But rather than doing that, how about just stepping back and taking a look, now that you know that there's programming going on and channeling going on through the television or a vision of somebody else's agenda, begin to step back and look at that, whatever it is you hear that's not in your frame of reference, and start to explore it. Just explore it. It doesn't mean you have to believe it. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's a point of interest. It's a point of something to dig into and find out. And as you do this more and more and more and more and more, there's going to become a really big picture that you're going to see of total fraud versus total truth. Now, within truth, there's always different ways of looking at it, but ultimately the end goal of all of that is really the same. We're all saying the same thing. We just have a little bit different perception of it because of the program that we're coming out of. So I hope that made sense to you. It's really important that we start to do that. If we're going to live in a world of peace, we have got to start to discern what is right, what is not right, what has been fed to us that's not true, for the benefit of somebody else's agenda, or to keep humanity more contained and under their control, or the truth that is going to allow us to have freedom and live in peace and prosper. The freedom part is, it's going to ensure all of us to have equal opportunity. It doesn't mean that somebody that has worked harder in their life should give away those that want to slack, or even those that grew up into a more poverty type situation. They can succeed. This is how it would be. It's up to the individual. But as long as we're being influenced by programming, our behavior is going to reflect that somewhere along the way. That's not what we want, freely thinking. We want to think ourselves for ourselves. We want to think for ourselves and take this information, sort through it, check it out, talk with other people who have also looked. And that's the way we're going to become a higher-minded group of people, of humans. And humanity gets along with one another. We really do. It's the influences through the programming that divides us and splits us apart. So, with that said, I want to thank you again very much, because I really do appreciate this. This is really important information for me to say to you. I feel like it's my mission to have you look at these things differently and sort things out so that you can embrace your own empowerment and see the world in a way that is going to change it to peace, tranquility, and beneficial for everybody who's here. And with that, I say thanks so much and have a really, really good week. Until then, see you later. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. And I think there's a little bell up there that you can hit that you'll get a notification every time we post. So if you want to, you can hit that too. But thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it.